Alright people, let's go ahead and continue our revision on the chapter of registration. Previously we were done till section number 26. So section number 22 went ahead and told people who are liable, 23 told people who are not liable, 24 told about compulsory registration, 25 sir procedure for registration, 26 team registration. Today we are going to continue our revision with section number 27, which talks about special provision for CTP and RTP, 28 amendment, 29 cancellation, 30 revocation of cancellation. 27 goes ahead and talks about special provision for CTP and an RTP. A CTP or an RTP who is going to other state. So for an example, a CTP or an RTP is coming to our state and he is going to commence his business. He should apply for registration 5 days prior. So sir, whenever they are going to commence their business 5 days prior, they should go ahead and apply for registration. When they are going ahead and applying for registration, CTP applies in GST REC 01 and RTP applies in REC 09. Along with that, an RTP should give self-attested copy of passport and Baba, his application, basically the authorized signatory who is there should be a person who is resident of India having a valid PAN. Done sir, plus a CTP or an RTP, whenever they are going ahead and filing their application, they should go ahead and pay net estimated tax liability in advance. Estimated net tax liability in advance, not gross. They have to pay net tax liability in advance and the amount gets credited to their e-cash ledger. Once they file their application, verification happens and registration certificate is granted in REC 06. Sir, once they go ahead and get the registration certificate, only then they should go ahead and start making taxable supply. Always remember, they are given registration for a period which they have asked for. For an example, if they ask for 15 days, then 15 days or 90 days, whichever is earlier. So means when you are applying for CTP and an RTP, the maximum period for which you are given registration is how many days? 90 days. Now sir, I want to go ahead and extend my registration. Then for an example, the exhibition got extended and a CTP or an RTP says, I want to extend my registration. Then before the original expires, you have to go ahead and apply for extension. Rule number 15 goes ahead and talks about extension, which goes ahead and says you have to go ahead and apply in RG 11 plus you have to give additional net estimated tax liability for the additional period. You have to go ahead and give additional period can be maximum 90 days. So you apply for 90 days and maximum 90 days means total you can be a CTP or an RTP in a state for 180 days. Okay sir, I got it. Sir, after 180 days gets over, can I go ahead and ask for more extension? Baba, always remember, you can't be casual in a state for more than 180 days. If it's a long running exhibition, go to the government, take a normal registration, go online, take a normal registration. You don't have to pay anything in advance now. When the exhibition gets over, surrender the registration and get lost. So the circular came, we told further extension beyond 180 days is not possible. Take normal registration, don't pay any advance tax, surrender registration while the exhibition gets over. Done sir. Then we have section number 28 over here. Section number 28 goes ahead and talks about amendment of registration. What is it telling over here? Amendment can be of three types. One is core field amendment, one is non-core field amendment, one is PAN change. Always remember, whenever there is a change in constitution, partnership became LLP, LLP became company, PAN changed. PAN change means you have to apply for fresh registration. Baba, always remember, there can't be any amendment that can be done. You have to apply for fresh registration. Sir, non-core field amendment ka case mein, just go online, apply and the registration certificate will stand amended. Sir, core field amendment. What are the three things which are core field? Legal name of your business is changing, address of principal place of business or additional place of business you are changing, or there is a change in the addition. Basically, there is a addition, deletion, retirement of partner, director, karta, managing committee, board of trustee or CEO who is responsible for day-to-day affairs of the company. An amendment would suffice. There is no requirement for cancellation of registration. Then whenever there is a change in the particular that has happened, just do one thing, go online, within 15 days apply in GST REG 14 along with the supporting document. The officer will go ahead and start the verification. Officer does the verification. Officer is of the opinion that amendment is warranted. Documents are complete and correct. Then he will approve the amendment within 15 days and give you an order in GST REC 05 15 REC 5 nahi baba, REC 15. Sir, if proper officer is of the opinion that amendment is not warranted, documents are incomplete or incorrect, then he will go ahead and give you a show cause notice. In the show cause notice, he will ask you clarification information document. Basically, the show cause notice is given within 15 days. You are given 7 working days. So, show cause notice comes to you within 15 working days. You have to reply within 7 working days. Why application should not be rejected? Once you go ahead and reply and your reply is satisfactory, PO will go ahead and approve the amendment within 7 working days and grant you and issue you a GST REC 15. If PO is of the opinion that reply is not satisfactory or you did not go ahead and reply, then he will go ahead and reject your application within 7 working days and pass an order in REC 05. 27 done, 28 done. 27 went in and told about special provision with respect to CTP and RTP. 28 went in and told about amendment. Now, sir, I don't want amendment and all. I want cancellation. So, if a person wants cancellation, he can go ahead and apply for cancellation, which is told in section number 29. Section number 29 has section number 29(1), which goes ahead and says when proper officer can suo motu cancel your registration, or when you can apply, or when one person is gone, legal hires can apply. Section number 29(2) goes ahead and tells you those scenarios when proper officer will go ahead and cancel your registration. Section number 29(3) says, sir, though when your registration is cancelled, that doesn't mean your liability you will not pay, you are still liable to pay. Section number 29(4) goes ahead and says cancellation under SGST means cancellation under CGST, and 29(5) goes ahead and says when your registration is cancelled, how much are you liable to pay on your stock and basically capital goods, inputs and capital goods. So, section number 29(1) goes ahead and says proper officer may suo motu or on an application by the registered person or the legal hire. Baba, section number 29, cancellation or suspension of registration, read with rule number 20, 21, 21A, which is suspension, and 22 and 24 we are going to do now. Section number 29(1) says proper officer may suo motu cancel or on an application by the registered person, or when the registered person is gone, his legal hire can go ahead and apply and he will cancel when registration will be cancelled, where business is discontinued or transferred due to death, dispose of, or demerger or amalgamation. In this scenario, registration can be cancelled. The second one is change in constitution of business has happened, then the old registration has to be cancelled. New person will take new registration. Next, sir, you are no longer liable under 22 or 24, or you had gone ahead and taken not valid return, voluntary return. You had gone ahead and taken, voluntary registration under section number 25(3), and you think you are no more required. You are no more required to means you are telling I have taken voluntary registration, I don't want to continue with it, then they can go ahead and you can go ahead and apply for cancellation. So, this 3 scenario may either proper officer can cancel, or registered person can go ahead and apply, or legal hire can go ahead and apply. Section number 29(2) says PO may go ahead and cancel your registration where number 1, if a registered person has gone ahead and contravened such provision of the act or rules, in that scenario proper officer can go ahead and cancel his registration. Such provision of the act or rules means those provisions which are told in rule number 21. Rule number 21 goes ahead and says if you go ahead and contravene this provision of the act or rules, your registration will be cancelled. What is the provision of the act or rules? Sir, no business from declared place of business, your registration will be cancelled. You issue an invoice or bill without supply of goods services in or both in violation of the provision of the act or rules, basically you are giving bogus invoice, then also your registration will be cancelled. Will be nahi, PO may cancel. Then if you violate the provision of section number 171 of the act or rules made thereunder, means if you are going ahead and doing profiteering, then also your registration can be cancelled. If you violate the provision of rule number 10A, basically you have to furnish your bank account detail. As per rule number 10A, you have to furnish your bank account detail within 45 days or first due date of first monthly return, whichever is earlier. If you don't furnish, your registration can be cancelled. Sir, you avail ITC in violation of section number 16 of the act or rules made thereunder, then also your registration can be cancelled. If you furnish the detail of outward supply in GSTR1 more than the details of the outward supply which you have declared in valid return under section number 39, then they are going ahead and telling when you are to pay the tax under GSTR 3B under section number 39 monthly return, when you are filing you have to pay the tax. There you showed your outward supply less. In GSTR 1 when you are to pass on the credit, you showed your sales more, then we will go ahead and cancel your registration. Sir, if you violate the provision of rule number 86B, when we are reading payment of taxes chapter, you will see rule number 86B goes ahead and says a person has to pay at least 1% liability. 1% liability has to be paid through e-cash ledger. That is told by rule number 86B. If you violate that condition, then they are going ahead and telling we will cancel your registration. Okay, sir, done. These are the scenario when registration will be cancelled by the proper officer. Now, proper officer can also go ahead and cancel your registration if you are a composition taxable person and you are not filing a return for 3 consecutive tax period. If you are a normal registered person other than composition and no return for how much? Continuous 6 months. If you are a voluntary registered person and you have not commenced business for how many months? 6 months. Meaning you are filing online nil return. Then Baba officer will say you have not commenced your business. Why did you voluntarily take registration? We will cancel your registration. And registration was obtained by fraud, willful misstatement or suppression of fact. Then also registration can be cancelled. Always remember in the exam section number 29(2) goes ahead and says 5 scenario when officer can go ahead and cancel your registration. Number 1, if you violate the provision of the act or rules which are told in rule number 21. Secondly, composition taxable person no return for 3 consecutive tax period. Normal person no return for 6 months. Sir, voluntary registered person has not commenced business for 6 months. And Baba, if registration was obtained by fraud, willful misstatement or suppression of fact, your registration will be cancelled. Sir, my registration is cancelled. I have gone ahead and collected 5 crore rupees. I'll put in the pocket and go home. No, Baba, no. Section number 29(3) goes ahead and says cancellation not to affect the liability to pay tax and dues, that is interest, penalty and late fee, etc. You will have to go ahead and pay all the tax, interest, penalty and late fee, whether or not determined before or after cancellation. The next one over here is 29(4), cancellation under the SGST Act, deemed cancellation under the CGST Act also. 29(5) read with rule number 44 goes ahead and says what is the tax payable by a person. First of all, whatever is the tax, interest, penalty, etc. that you have to pay, plus because you are going to take your stock and your capital goods home, on that inputs and capital goods also you are liable to pay tax. On your input which is in stock, input which is in semi-finished goods, input which is in finished goods, whatever the ITC you have taken or the output tax payable calculated by applying valuation rule, whichever is higher has to be paid. In case of capital goods and plant and machinery, you will have to go ahead and pay the ITC divided by 60 multiplied by remaining months. Whatever was the ITC taken divided by 60 multiplied by the remaining month, that will give you reduced amount of ITC. That reduced amount of ITC or the tax on transaction value, basically the output tax payable, whichever is higher has to be paid. So inputs pay ITC or output tax payable, whichever is higher. Capital goods and plant and machinery also, whatever is the reduced amount of ITC or output tax payable, whichever is higher has to be paid. Done, sir. Point is clear. Now, sir, what is the procedure for cancellation? Always remember one thing. Once one person has expired, for an example, you have to go ahead and apply within how many days? 30 days. So, once one event happens, you should apply within 30 days in GST REG 16, including, so basically GST REG 16 is what? Application for cancellation. In that you have to include the details of input in stock, semi-finished goods, finished goods and capital goods on the day on which cancellation is sought. On the day from which cancellation is sought. Along with that you have to tell the liability and how did you pay the liability. You used your credit or you used your cash. That is also to be told in GST REG 16, plus the supporting document has to be given. Now if you have gone ahead and applied for cancellation, cancellation proceedings will start and within 30 days the officer will go ahead and give you a cancellation order after providing you opportunity of being heard. Cancellation order will come in GST REG 19. In the cancellation order, officer will go ahead and tell you tax, interest, penalty, late fee you have to pay. Plus, as per section number 29(5), whatever inputs and capital goods pay liability is there, that also has to be paid. Now, you being a taxable person, what will you have to go ahead and do? He has gone ahead and given you a cancellation order. You have to go ahead within 3 months. You have to go ahead and file your GSTR 10, which is bye-bye return, final return after making payment of all the dues and the amount told in section number 29(5). Done everyone? Yes sir, point is clear. Sir, if the cancellation is done by proper officer on his own, then proper officer will go ahead and issue you a show cause notice. You have to go ahead and reply within 7 working days. Once you go ahead and reply, then proper officer will determine a date from which your cancellation proceedings will start. Basically, once you go ahead and reply, you will reply in GSTRG 18. If you go ahead and reply and the reply is satisfactory, then proper officer will drop the proceedings and issue a order in GSTRG 20. But if the officer is not satisfied, then he will start the cancellation proceeding, and once the cancellation proceeding gets over, he will give you a cancellation order and tell you what is the amount of tax, interest, penalty payable, and he will also direct you saying, sir, please go ahead and pay the amount as per section number 29(5), and then within 3 months you should go ahead and make the payment of the amount and file your bye-bye return. Always remember one thing, when you apply for registration, if while filing your GSTRG 16, you have gone ahead and made the payment of all the 29(5) wala amount, then again you don't have to pay. But if you have not paid at the time of filing GSTRG 16, then you have to pay and file your bye-bye return, which is the final return. Are we clear everyone? Sir, officer gave me a show cause notice saying I will cancel your registration because you are a composition taxable person, not filed your return for 3 consecutive tax periods, or a normal person has not filed his return for 6 months, then officer will go ahead and give you a notice. Baba, once you receive the notice, don't reply anything, just go online and furnish all the return and pay the tax, interest, late fee, etc. Then also the proceedings will be dropped. Are we clear everyone? Always remember one thing, during the cancellation proceeding, there is one concept which is known as suspension. During the cancellation proceedings are going on, your registration will be suspended. That is told in section number rule number 21A, which goes ahead and talks about suspension of registration. Rule number 21A may first point which is there, rule number 21A, the first sub rule which is there goes ahead and says, if a registered person is going ahead and applying for cancellation, if I have gone ahead and applied supposedly on 15th, but I am asking cancellation from 1st of April, then from 1st of April they will start my suspension. It says pending the cancellation, registration, pending cancellation of registration, pending cancellation, registration will be suspended from the date of submission of application or from the date when cancellation is sought, whichever is later. Whichever is later. I asked for cancellation from, I applied over here, I am asking cancellation from here. So from here, my registration will be suspended. Sir, if the proper officer wants to go ahead and cancel your registration, then when will the registration be suspended? If proper officer has reason to believe that registration is liable to be cancelled, he may suspend the registration with effect from a date to be determined by him. He will give you a show cause notice, you will reply to him, then he will determine the date from when registration will be suspended, pending the completion of cancellation proceedings. The next one over here is section rule number 21A, sub rule 2A, which goes ahead and says, supposingly, it says where a comparison of the return furnished by the registered person under section number 39, you have to write over here with the details of the outward supply, with the details of the outward supply furnished in GSTR 1. Basically, officer is comparing your GSTR 3B and GSTR 1, or officer is comparing your GSTR 3B with details of inward supplies derived on suppliers GSTR 1. Basically, your GSTR 3B is comparing with your GSTR 2A, and he is going at 2A or 2B. Basically, on the suppliers GSTR 1, your GSTR 2A or 2B will be derived. So, your GSTR 3B will be compared with your GSTR 2A or 2B, and they are going ahead and telling, or such other analysis carried out on the recommendation of counsel shows that there are significant differences or anomalies indicating contravention of act or rules leading to cancellation of registration. In your 3B, you are showing 10 lakh ka sale. In your GSTR 1, you are going ahead and showing 1 crore ka sale. They are going ahead and telling this discrepancy, if it is there, we will go ahead and immediately issue a GSTRG 31. They will suspend your registration and issue a GSTRG 31 highlighting the difference and tell you, please reply to us within how many days? 30 days as to why your registration should not be cancelled. Can you tell me 3 cases when registration will be suspended? Number 1, when you apply. Number 2, when proper officer gives you a show cause notice. You applied over here, from here you are asking cancellation, so from here your registration will be suspended. If proper officer goes ahead and gives you a show cause notice, you will reply and then officer will determine a date from where your registration will be suspended. Third case, officer went ahead and compared your GSTR 3B with GSTR 1, or your GSTR 3B compared with the details of inward supplies derived on the basis of GSTR 1 of the supplier. Basically, in your GSTR 2A, 2B, whatever amount is appearing, he compared with your GSTR 3B, and Baba, any other analysis they did, and they found that there are differences, anomalies, anomalies means something wrong is there, then he will go ahead and do what? He will go ahead and issue a GSTRG 31 and immediately suspend your registration. Always remember one thing, whenever your registration has been suspended under 1, 2 or 2A, any case may, then they are going ahead and telling you shall not file any monthly return also, and you shall not make any taxable supply also. Sir, in this period when my registration is suspended, I shall not go ahead and make taxable supply means what? It means you can make supply, you can go ahead and issue invoice, but you can't go ahead and collect tax from your buyers. Basically, you can't go ahead and collect tax. Sir, tell me one thing, what if after later? Okay, it means he shall not issue tax invoice and not to charge tax on supplies made by him. Are we clear, everyone? Yes, sir. Point is clear. Now tell me one thing, sir. If supposingly now I am not going ahead and collecting any tax, later you went ahead and told that suspension is revoked and registration is revived, then sir, during this period, whatever supplies I made, for that I did not give a tax invoice. So for all the supplies, you can now go ahead and give within the next 1 month revised tax invoice, collect GST, paid to the government, and all this revised tax invoice you have to go ahead and show in the first return which is to be furnished by you. It goes ahead and says suspension is revoked and registration is revived, then you can issue revised tax invoice as per section number 31(3)(a). Okay, and you have to file first return as per section number 40, wherein you will go ahead and show all the supplies which were made during your suspension. One more point over here is, sir, a registered person whose registration has been suspended by the officer, basically under 2 Subrule 2 or 2A, shall not be granted any refund under section number 54 during the period of suspension. When your registration is suspended, you will not be given any refund also. Sir, one more point over here is the suspension under 1, 2 or 2A shall be deemed to be revoked upon the completion of cancellation proceeding. For an example, your cancellation proceedings are done. Now, once the cancellation proceedings are done, suspension is revoked, and the revocation will happen from the day suspension had come into effect. It says that revocation will be effective from the date on which suspension had come into effect. Also, the proper officer has power. That proper officer can go ahead and suspend your revocation. Then proper officer can revoke the suspension anytime he feels appropriate. Can I go ahead, everyone? Done, sir. Point is clear. Now listen to me very carefully. Your registration is cancelled under section number 29. Section number 30 goes ahead and says, if your registration is cancelled, go to the officer, tell him a sorry, and he will go ahead and revoke the cancellation. Sir, my registration is cancelled. Please go ahead and revoke. Don't cancel. Sir, you have already given me a cancellation order. How will I do business? Please revoke the suspension order. Please revoke the cancellation order. Now, if you go to the officer, you have to go to the officer. Section number 30, read with rule number 23 says you should go within 30 days. This 30 days can be extended by additional commissioner, joint commissioner, by further 30 days. If you can't go within 30 plus 30 also, then additional 30 days can be given by the commissioner. So, you should go ahead and apply for revocation in GST-RG 21. Using which form? GST-RG 21 within 30 days or 30 days or 30 days. Can I go ahead, everyone? Rule number 10B has come. Amendment is there over here. Rule number 10B has come, wherein rule number 10B goes ahead and says, whenever you are going ahead and applying for revocation, your Aadhaar authentication has to be done. So they have now gone ahead and inserted in rule number 23, section number 30, read with rule number 23, they have gone ahead and inserted one small line saying, sir, whenever you are going ahead and applying for revocation, by revocation application is going, please make sure your Aadhaar authentication is done. So sir, once Aadhaar authentication is done, you can go ahead and apply for revocation. Proper officer is satisfied, he will revoke the cancellation and give you an order in GST-RG 22. Sir, proper officer is not satisfied, he will go ahead and give you, if he is not satisfied, he will give you a show cause notice. You reply to him within 7 working days. Reply is satisfactory means you have gone ahead and given. If you have gone ahead and given him reply, giving clarification information document, he will take another 30 days ka time. If he is satisfied, he will revoke the cancellation and give you an order in RG 22. However, if officer is not satisfied, always remember he will reject the application and pass an order in RG 05. Always remember one thing, before you go ahead and apply for revocation, basically you go ahead and file your revocation application. Please make sure if registration was cancelled due to not filing of return, please file all your return, pay all your tax, interest, penalty and late fee. Only then you have to go ahead and apply for revocation. So before you go ahead and apply for revocation, make sure first Aadhaar authentication is done. Secondly, if any return etc. is pending, which because of which only your registration was cancelled, so file the return, pay tax, interest, penalty and late fee, only then apply for revocation. Now always remember, cancellation is sometimes prospective cancellation, sometimes it is retrospective cancellation. For an example, you did not go ahead and file your return for April, May, June, July, August, September, 6 months ka return you did not go ahead and file. Proper officer will give you a show cause notice. You will go ahead and reply to him. Then he will go ahead and carry out the cancellation proceeding and he gave you the cancellation order. Once he gives you the cancellation order, you should apply within revocation ke liye within 30 days or extended time. Once you go ahead and apply for revocation, remember before applying for revocation, till the cancellation order, whatever returns were due till the cancellation order, that is from April till October for an example, whatever returns were due, you have to go ahead and file, pay all the tax, interest, penalty, late fee and only then you have to apply for revocation. Now the revocation ka proceedings will be going on. They will give you the revocation order. Once the revocation order comes, from the cancellation order till the revocation order, whatever returns were due has to be filed within the next 30 days. You have to file all the returns which were due from cancellation order till the revocation order. Done everyone? Now, sir, if it was a retrospective cancellation, means I did not go ahead and file the return for 6 months. Officer gave me a show cause notice. I replied. He gave me a cancellation order which was effective retrospectively from the time I had not filed my return. Are we clear everyone? Then for this period, now I will not be able to file the return. So first I will go ahead and apply for revocation application within how many days? 30 days. I will file a revocation application without going ahead and filing any return. Officer will go ahead and give me a revocation order saying, sir, okay, we are giving you a revocation order, but once the revocation order is given, all the returns which were due retrospectively, basically from the day you had not filed the return, all the returns from that day till the revocation order has to be filed now. Are we clear everyone? Yes sir, we all got it. Basically from here till here, all the returns which were due has to be filed. All the returns which were due till your revocation order has to be filed. Done everyone. Here we are done with your chapter of registration. One quick thing everyone, listen to me very carefully. Registration we went ahead and learned section number 22. Section number 22 told about people who are liable. Section number 23 told about people who are not liable. Section number 24 told about compulsory registration. Section number 25 told about procedures. Section number 26 told about deemed registration. Section number 27 CTP and RTP. 28 amendment. 29 cancellation. 30 revocation of cancellation. Right everyone? I have gone ahead and told you section number 22, section number 23 and section number 24 are A graded topic in your A graded chapter. 25 is also you can say A graded or B graded. Then section number 29 can be told as A graded. All other sections which are there, Baba, I don't find them very important. All others you can do it as B graded or C graded topic in this A graded chapter. But this and this along with section number 25 must be asked in the exam for at least 4 to 6 marks. Right everyone? I have gone ahead and told you where are the amendments everyone. Section number 30 mein I have already gone ahead and told you what are the amendments in this chapter. One amendment is over here wherein basically now they have gone ahead and included along with pan masala, ice cream and tobacco ka supplier, they have included person who is making fly ash bricks. Correct everyone? Building bricks, then bricks of fossil meal and similar siliceous earth and also earthen or roofing tile, those people are also not eligible for a higher limit of 40 lakh. That is included. Secondly, I have gone ahead and told you, sir, rule number 10B, Aadhaar authentication is required if you are going ahead and applying for refund and revocation. Correct, sir? And then I have gone ahead and told you in section number 30, they have gone ahead and made an amendment where they have gone ahead and told revocation application when you are filing. Before that, please go ahead and do what? Aadhaar authentication. Done, everyone. I'll close my chapter over here. I hope you guys enjoyed the revision. Done, everyone. We'll close the revision of registration over here. Bye, guys. Take care.